today's episode of The Daily Blend. I am your host, AC, and we are joined in studio today by Kasey Hammock, the co-founder of the Do Good Collective. How are you, Kasey?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. Okay, the Do Good Collective. Tell us what I love the name of it. Tell us about the Do Good Collective.
So the Do Good Collective is all about connecting people who want to do good with their strengths and skills to help other people do more good. Primarily in the nonprofit sector, we are connecting businesses who have skills, time, expertise to give with the nonprofit counterparts who could use that support to do the critical work in our community.
How important is that? Because how important is the critical work in our community? It's important, right?
It's really important. And often they have the least amount of back-end support to do the things that we sometimes in the for-profit sector take for granted, like having administrative help, someone who can help us put a budget together, identify what those critical financial or strategy pieces are.
And you have a little bit of experience in this area.
Tell
us a little bit about your background, Kasey.
Yeah. So I spent a little more than a decade in the nonprofit sector working frontline with families at First Chance for Children, at Adventure Club, a couple of other nonprofits, and was the executive director at First Chance for Children until, 2022, and then took the leap to finish a PhD in social work.
Yes.
Looking at data-driven decision-making in the social services nonprofit sector. And through that, really just was able to dig deep with local nonprofits and understand what a lot of their common challenges were. And with my co-founders, having lots of conversations about this nerdy data I was digging into of like, how can we help? How can Partner for Better, the company that I run as well, do more good, to support our community. And that's how this got started.
Yeah, well, that tracks, right? Like all that tracks, because a lot of times when you're working in a sector, then you're in the back of your mind, you're like, especially somebody who loves data.
Yeah.
Right? You were probably collecting all these bits of data, storing them for this.
Yes.
For this time. And so a lot of times nonprofits just sometimes do not have the resources that are necessary to be able to dig into the data. They're busy doing the service, right?
Yeah.
Nonprofits are working in our community. They're serving our neighbors in the community. And a lot of times they just don't have that back end support. And so you are putting something together to be able to help them with that. So what kinds of people, businesses, organizations are you looking for?
So on the nonprofit side, we are looking for anyone who works in a social good organization, board members, executive directors, frontline staff, up and coming leaders who are looking to build their skills and capacity. So we have free classes led by local business leaders. Let me say that again, free classes.
Yes, please.
Because we know in the sector, it's like you have time or you have money.
Yes.
Rarely do you have both.
That's true.
So how can we at least provide a free resource that is like really actionable for people who want to grow their skills and do better work?
Yeah.
And then on the business side, we are looking for anyone who has a heart for nonprofits, anyone who wants to use their expertise to mentor up-and-coming leaders, executive directors, to build the capacity of this sector who is doing the most critical work in our community.
Yeah. Yeah, and you and I have had these conversations before. I don't know if everybody makes the correlation between the business of running a nonprofit. Like, there is a business involved in running a nonprofit.
Totally.
Right? You sometimes see a nonprofit as just, it's an organization, and I donate to that organization. But in order for it to be a thriving sustainable organization, there is a business piece, correct?
Absolutely. Nonprofits are businesses that are running really lean operations. If we compared it to the for-profit sector in terms of what their bottom line looks at, they are really sometimes running better businesses than major corporations in terms of their fiscal responsibility and the outcomes of what they are able to do.
Yeah.
And I think something that is a little radical that we want to do with this new nonprofit is say, like, it shouldn't have to be that way. So how can we leverage the business community to make that easier, to strengthen these nonprofits so they can run more effective businesses for the social good that they're doing?
Yeah, and I think that's super important. A lot of times, you'll know, nonprofits are sometimes started by people who have a passion for whatever this area is, right? Whatever this area is. It doesn't mean that that person necessarily has business experience, right?
Yeah.
But they jump into it because they know that well done is better than well said, right?
Yes.
And so they jump into it and say, hey, I want to make a difference. I want to do this to serve the community. And they jump in. How amazing to have an organization like the Do Good Collective who can pair them up with somebody from the business sector who says, you know what, I've got some time, some expertise. Let me sit down with you and talk to you about whatever that thing is that you may need some help with.
Yeah. So we're starting off this year with classes running July through December with our business partners. Those are on the Do Good Collective's website and on Partner for Better's website.
Okay.
We are offering some small grants for nonprofits as well. Those will come out in December. And we are also going to launch some networking to really build those connections with In Good Company. So
that's right.
More on that.
That's right. That's right. Well, we are excited over at the Come On 411 to be partnering with you guys on that networking piece, and just excited to help all our local nonprofits get what they need in order to be able to provide the service they need. So thank you, Kasey, for helping people do more good. We appreciate you and your team.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.